Hi everybody, and welcome back again to this month's StudioLIFE. I cannot believe a month has gone by from when we had our last guest here. As it's Menopause Month,
certainly is.
We thought it would be really good to have a really important voice in menopause, Heather from GenM. And what's really interesting about work that you're doing, I think it's changing the whole face of menopause, but on a really practical, everyday sense. So I'm not going to do you justice. So I'm going to let you explain.
Okay, no problems. Well, thank you very much for having me, because obviously I've been following your brand for years and had communications, but I'm Heather Jackson. I'm Chief Executive and Co-Founder of GenM, the menopause partner of brands and home of the MTIC. And now you might wonder what the MTIC is, but it's the world's universal symbol for menopause friendly. And why have we decided to create a badge with an accreditation that can go on products and in stores to show how we can shop? Is because 4 years ago, me and my co-founder Sam Simister, we were in perimenopause and we couldn't find what we were looking for, from climate controlled pyjamas right through to moisturisers that didn't run down our face, through to supplements and nutrients we needed. And we felt that actually we're in the prime of our lives. We're one of the biggest consumer markets that there are, and yet the retailers and the brands are making us feel invisible. And we needed to have better shopping with trust and confidence that we could find products but actually know that they were going to work for us. So we did some huge research on this, and we realised that Sam and I weren't whinging women moaning about the menopause. 87% of women from our invisibility report said they felt let down, overlooked and felt invisible to brands that they've trusted. They wanted better signage, and just like the vegan V, which is actually out there for 3% of the population in the UK, 3% are vegan.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Well, it is, because I'm in awe of what everyone's done for vegans, from businesses and retailers to society. You wouldn't put a meat counter next to vegan counter, you'd be very careful what you do and everything else. And I thought, well, how come that if businesses gave the same respect to menopausal women as they've done the vegan audience at 3%, would you be surprised to know that there's 20% of the population at any one time menopausal? Where's our signposting? Where's our customer experience? Where's our finding our new product development? Where's our finding products that don't necessarily have to be new product development but are actually better signposted? So we then decided, as two perimenopausal women,
just
we need
out
to do
of interest,
something.
do you think that's because vegan as a discussion point has been around for
vegan,
a much longer time, and menopause really only in the last few years has started to build?
Let's be honest, menopause has been around a lot longer than vegan has been around. So you might be right on the actual commercial market opportunity of vegan has been around a lot.
And the discussion, but menopause has been around a long time.
So I wasn't laughing at you, I was laughing with you there. But seriously though, that actually what GenM wanted to create was to ignite the brands and the retailers to understand that menopause, they have a role to play here, because it's not about curing menopause that we're looking for, it's about having a better lived experience. Now, I'm a runner, and I wouldn't dream of running a marathon in a pair of slippers and my pyjamas on without having had any preparation straight off the settee. Everyone would think you were mad. Now, the menopause is the biggest marathon a woman's ever going to enter. It can last up to 15 years, and the average runner on a marathon is 5 hours. So 5 hours compared to 15 years, which you're preparing most for. It turns out you prepare most for the 5-hour marathon, when actually you need to understand the kit that to make you have that better lived experience, from the nutrients, supplements, food, exercise, to then the actual kit. Climate controlled bedding will allow you to have a hot sweat and not get up in the middle of the night, change sheets, put the Instagram on and lose 3 hours of your life before you go back to sleep. Actually, you go straight back. Hey presto, you're going to wake up feeling better.
So how does it manifest? Because I know you're working with partners like Boots and QVC.
Absolutely.
So it's not just, here's come to our website and all the brands that have an MTIC. Like, you're actually impacting and making a difference
massively
at a retail level.
Well, to be honest, Sam and I realised that two perimenopausal women could do diddly squat to change the world of menopause. Two perimenopausal women at the best aren't the best at the times right now, but actually two perimenopausal women wanting to change the world of retail, you've got to do something really great here. So we realised that if we could ignite the biggest retailers and the brands in the world to actually recognise they had a role to play, and actually they needed to serve this audience better. And when I say this audience better, I mean Sam and I as well. That actually then we could ignite them, because the retailers and the brands they've got the biggest reach consumer-wise and colleague-wise. This wasn't just about asking them to better signpost products for them to sell. This was about asking them to come on board a journey that would change the rhetoric and change the world of menopause, normalise the conversation and make menopause more normal. It's not a disease, it's a life transition. And so allow us to go shopping and feel comfortable in it. Allow men to walk down a Tesco aisle and see a menopause aisle and go, actually, I should be down this aisle because there's some products here that actually my friend, my girlfriend, my mother, my wife might actually appreciate, and actually I need to learn more about menopause. The only way you can destigmatise a taboo right now is to bring in the biggest brands, because the brands of this world now change how we think about things.
100%.
And so that's what we've done. We've got 120 brands and growing on board in the UK alone. And actually that includes Boots, Tesco, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, QVC, all committing to give better designated space to menopause, create a new category. And then we've got over 100 of the biggest brands that have actually worked with us, from Colgate right through to Better You, right through to Simba.
So some of the products then are menopause specific,
There's
and then
very
some
few menopause
are
specific,
general that are good to be used during.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like climate control clothing, maybe.
Well, it's menopause friendly. So menopause friendly
okay.
does not mean to say it has to be menopause specific.
Yeah.
Because there's some great products out there through our accreditation, our testing, and the medical, clinical evidence they've got to give are already out there. There's some incredible products out there.
So it's help navigating.
So there are products that are menopause specific because they've got the higher ingredients of certain products in supplements and nutrients, and we can talk about the supplement market later, but how GenM and our accreditation of the MTIC is actually pushing the barriers for better signposting and better accreditation for the whole supplement market. Menopause goes across every category of retail, from bedding through to nutrients, through to supplements, through to food, through to creams and body creams, through to shampoo for your thinning hair. There isn't one sector of retail that can't help a woman have a better lived experience. And it isn't about flogging this woman lots of goods. All our GenM research has shown, and in particular now, only 2% of women feel they're thriving at this moment. That's really? 98% aren't thriving. Only 14% of women in the UK are taking HRT. So what are they doing at this moment in time? We have to raise the aspiration of women to thrive in this period of time, because 85% of women right now will say, my menopause isn't that bad. Now, not that bad suggests it could be better. Now, this isn't all about just going down to the doctors and grabbing some HRT, because it doesn't suit everybody and it's not everyone's choice. This is about aspiring women, whether it's through the makeup that they're wearing, right through to the clothes, that it will last on their face, it will accommodate the hot sweat or whatever symptom they're really struggling with. And it will give them a better today than yesterday. And if we can give women a better day than yesterday, she'll then want to find out, what else can I do to have a better lived experience? Right this moment now in 2024, in October 2024, too many women fear menopause rather than aspire to it. Now, I don't see a 35-year-old woman at the moment going, wow, if that's 55, bring it on. When actually you get to 55, this is your best years of your life. If you're not thriving now, when are we going to thrive? So get these retailers and brands to signpost us and let us choose what works for us, and to have that better accommodation.
That's so good, isn't it? Because I do really think navigating product in any category. So if you can walk down an aisle and you can go to, there's an aisle, a specific GenM MTIC aisle, absolutely. Then it's easy, isn't it?
Well, this is the start of where menopause is going. Morrison's have got it in. Tesco in January will start putting designated aisles in. Boots have got menopause signing across all the wobblers onto different products. It's the start of it. But in the future, you'll have people like Matalan having labels on clothing that are just a swing tag. Because I don't want to create a menopause-specific clothing range out there. I don't want to see that. I want to see clothes that we can all wear, which actually has an MTIC on it saying, and if you are potentially menopausal, this will allow you to go to the wedding and not feel all strapped up. This will allow you to go to it breathable, it's got the right technology, or it's got the right patterns and everything else.
Because you're right, it doesn't I had a conversation, funny enough, with a broadsheet journalist, and she was like, really interested in Studio 10. She was like, it's tell me about your menopause makeup brand. And I said, okay, I'm going to stop you there just for a second. We're not a menopause makeup brand. We're a makeup brand that's formulated more for mature skin.
Absolutely.
Yes, it covers that spectrum, a little bit younger and a little bit
but
beyond.
But that's the way we need it, because we want young women to be able to wear a product and not go, oh, I'm not touching that, that's for a menopausal woman. You want a woman to go, wow, that's got great products in for me now. And actually, it's a brand that will live through my transition. Or, actually, this is a brand I should be telling my mum about. You know, we shouldn't be fearing it having the M-tick, but equally, you know, society has to change on that as well. And I can remember when we came up with the concept originally, we had two huge brands going, oh, I don't know whether we could put in our products because it would put young women off buying it.
It's not
and I was
saying that though, is it?
No,
it's
but
just
equally,
saying
if a young woman's put off, or they might think it's not for them. Yeah, actually, that's why we're in a taboo. We need young women knowing they're going to be menopausal one day, because every woman will be it. 15.5 million women in the UK are menopausal at any one time.
So there are a lot of products already available.
We've got over 500 products that are menopause friendly.
So it's a little bit like you say, the sort of vegan. It just helps you navigate.
Yeah. And don't think that any brand who comes on as a partner of GenM gets a tick. They don't.
I do think supplements though are a different ballgame. Menopausal sort of symptoms, but then I had a conversation again actually with a supplement brand, and I do take their supplements and I absolutely love them. And they've got a phenomenal product, and it's all around mood. Helps just stabilise moods, harmony, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, this is fantastic, because hormonally, moods are all over the place. Yeah. But actually, and now I'm beyond menopause, but I still take them because my moods fluctuate. So,
but equally, this is about learning what works for you in this period of time. Now, if that brand that you were taking came to us and said, how would we get the M-tick? They have to give us the medical, clinical certification and everything that we go through to prove that it can help that menopausal symptoms that they're going through. And obviously, we do know mood swings are hormonal, but we are very specific. Just because a brand is in a partnership, has joined the partnership of GenM, committed to understand, support and serve menopause better, that does not necessarily give them the right to have the M-tick. The M-tick still has to go through all the process. And as you said, the supplement market, it isn't the menopause supplement market that actually is dubious at the moment. It's the whole of the supplements. And I can categorically tell everyone who's listening to this that they shouldn't fear the M-tick on a supplement, because actually we're taking the supplement world into a higher level. Not only has that supplement got to prove that it's got the right ingredients in, it's got to prove it's got the right amount of that ingredient in. Well, that was a little bit
on the that everybody's talking about, the Panorama program. The beginning part of that program was very much around the claims, those supplement brands. And I don't think it's just menopause. I think it's generally the claims are X. They talk a lot about user studies, but actually it's an ingredient level, and then it's the mix of ingredients, and then it's how the intensity, the potency of the ingredient.
But I have to categorically say, obviously the Panorama program's out there, but not one of the products that actually were picked up as criticised have actually got the M-tick, nor have we been able. Well, we haven't been. They haven't got them. They haven't. Well, who knows? Because they hadn't applied. I mean, under the reasons why they on the television program, they said if they were the real reasons, well, obviously we'd have found that out as well. Yeah. But only products that really can justify the M-tick and deliver what it's saying on the label will get it. And equally, you'll have seen recently FSA, the Standards Authority, pulling up some brands about how they're going on the side of going on the wind of how they can market something. We've already set out to our partners as well that any brand who's got the M-tick, and if they get pulled up by the FSA for actually swimming close to the wind on how they're saying it, they will potentially lose it. Because actually sometimes it's not what you put on the pack, it's how the agency then go and market it. And absolutely. And again, you've got the great scientists in the brands and the new product development creating, and then you've got the marketeers on the other end. Then neither the twain shall meet. Now, again, that has to happen.
Yeah, which is fantastic.
Yeah. So we really are delivering trust and honesty and visibility, and we're also building a credible way that women can confidently shop for products. this is an overwhelming period at the moment with so much information going. And let me be honest here, not every product will work for every woman. Every woman's menopause is different.
Yeah.
And, you know, I love my running, as I've already said. I could recommend you Hockers. Hockers work brilliantly for my feet. But that doesn't mean to say they're going to work for yours. But that doesn't mean to say that they're bad. It just means to say that they weren't good for you. And equally, I don't want to look on an aisle and go, this is all exploitation of me. Why would I need all these? Actually, I don't walk into a running shop and go, this is all exploitation of me. I go, wow, I don't need every product in here, but some of these would be good for me. And actually, these would be great for my friend Jo, because actually she's got bad knees.
But actually, if you go into a sports shop and they've got lines and lines of trainers, they do categorise them, don't they? One if you want to gym, one if you want running, walking, blah, blah, blah. So actually we benefit, don't we, as consumers? Massively. Because I don't want to spend my time and my energy, you know, looking for products and doing the research. If I can go to a retailer and go, great, these ones.
And it's a starting point for you, because the retailer won't have everything out there right now, but actually they'll give you a starting point so that actually you can then go, what else do I need to look for? Because the online, your QVCs, your Boots, their online presence are often better than the stores themselves because they can have more products. So, you know, you look at Boots as Menopause Hub, that they've got all with the MTICs in there, all MTIC products in there. It's an actually phenomenal resource, and that will become the norm on how people shop now.
But isn't that part of, I mean, you talk about menopause and living, you know, if, you know, 45, 55, it's out living our best life now, but 55, 65, 75, I mean, that sort of fits into a whole midlife conversation, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
And that we shouldn't be written off just because we're 40, 50 plus.
Well, I mean, I'm 55 and I want to swing from a chandelier. I actually want to have my best lived life. I want to have that Thelma and Louise experience without jumping off the cliff. You know, I want to actually get to the cliff and turn around and go, well, no, that's not my time now. And, you know, again, purpose is everything, and actually if you can't be 55 and purposeful, whether I'm in midlife, menopause or post-menopause, it doesn't matter. We should have the best experience of our life to put it all together. And you know, I am really excited of the global legacy that GenM will create. We've set out to have the MTIC, and I'll just show it again, the MTIC as recognisable as the vegan V over the next 5 years globally, and GenM as absolutely game-changing as B Corp is in terms of society changing things. So, you know, we've set out with a mission, and 3 years into this,
it is phenomenal what you've achieved. I mean, to actually, you know, to have the vision, but to galvanise the likes of Boots and QVC and Tesco and Morrison's and, you know, huge scale. For them to physically get behind you. Well, make a difference.
We thought none of them were doing it fast enough until we realised that the world of retail goes slow. So what we have done has been phenomenal. But I have to give great credit to Boots, because they saw the vision. They saw my MTIC that I'd drawn on an A4 piece of paper in an office room with them, and they went, "We'll help you make that happen." So they worked with us on the accreditation with their scientists and the pharmacists and their lawyers, and then they trialled it on 150 products.
Aren't they?
Well, they trialled it on 150 products in 1,000 stores before we even went out there. Wow. So we knew that consumers wanted it, consumers could trust it, and all it just does show is, don't actually try making change by revolutionary being angry. Don't get bitter, get better, and actually go to them with a solution. We came to retailers and brands with a solution on how they could make better signage for menopause and actually look through all their products.
And made it a positive.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we've all got to learn in life now in 2024. Let's not get so toxic and aggressive over things. There's a very toxic narrative on menopause at the moment, which is why in 2024 more women fear menopause than 2020. But let's collaborate, because only by collaborating with the brands, the retailers, women ourselves, when we as women aren't blameless in this. My mum never talked to me about menopause. We're the first generation of women to have the opportunity to live longer post-reproduction than pre-reproduction. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't want to live longer and feel like shit. You know, it's not on my aspirational list to do, but nor is it my aspiration to be the role model to my daughter and her generation of women going, oh my God, if that's menopause, get me out of here. Do you know what I mean? I want them to go, wow, I'm living my great life in my 20s and my 30s, but it just gets even better. And that's what we've got to give them now. And that's why we're doing our great GenM campaign.
I think what you said as well about the rhetoric and the conversation around menopause, because I have spoken to, you know, some women and some women in the workplace, and it's very positive that we're having this conversation and it's out in the open and there's much more awareness. But actually, there's so much negativity around. There's 48 symptoms, and the way we're portrayed is that, you know, we're not able to keep a job down, or, you know, we're sort of,
and
you
that,
know,
and that's
emotionally
so not true. I mean, I know 60,000 women are leaving the workplace, but actually, are they leaving the workplace because of the menopause, or are they leaving the workplace because we didn't give them enough support to understand what they needed to do for themselves to control and have a better menopause? And actually, 48 symptoms, I'd prefer to think of them as signs rather than symptoms. As soon as we start calling them symptoms, you feel you've got a disease or you're poorly.
But that's the problem.
This, you
know,
know,
so much of it, if you read a lot of it, those 48 symptoms all grouped into, and what they were sort of saying is it's not helping us because it's so negative. Potential employers, the workplace are thinking a menopausal woman is not functioning, is not able to function, and that's not true, is it? Like,
that's absolutely not true. I mean, my second business I had, and pre this one, was all about getting more women from middle management into the executive. I was big about choice and opportunity there. Choice and opportunity has been my big mantra all my life here. And I've worked with 30,000 women over the last 20 years to get them into the top. Now, 20 years ago, we were all talking about what was keeping women from the top. And you'll remember everyone said it was the culture of businesses. Now, culture did have a big part to play, but no one actually asked those women who were having in the culture, saying, is there anything else going on in your lives? We didn't talk about menopause because we didn't know it was there to talk about. And actually, if we'd accommodated culture and menopause at the same time, then we would be in a lot better place with women at the top right now. But what we can't afford, and I totally agree with you, Grace, is that the executives at the top go, oh my God, we've got to think about menopausal women now, and actually, what on earth are we to do? Actually, it's a societal issue. It's not just down to the workplace to look after us. We don't actually just have menopause at work. We have it when we go home. We have it in a society. We have it when we go on holiday, on a plane. You know, find me climate controlled bedding in a hotel room. Let me have my best experience. You know, find me some products for an airplane that actually could give me a better flight experience. If we all take it that these women, 1 billion women globally, might be experiencing some signs of menopause that could actually be affecting their best experience, we'll work out how to give them a better one. And, you know, it shouldn't...
And it's a positive.
Yeah, and it shouldn't be run by legislation.
I totally agree with that, because if the alternative is that women end up leaving the workplace, then business, industry lose out.
Absolutely.
I said this before.
But you know what? They're not just leaving the workplace. They're leaving the husbands and the partners as well. Or the partners and the husbands leaving them, you know, and unfortunately some women, unfortunately it's minority, but it's, any minority shouldn't be happening, you know, are taking their own lives in this period of time. So again, let's not just focus on just the workplace. Women are leaving things that they should be actually thriving in, full stop. And the amount of men who've written to me saying, oh my God, if only I'd known my wife was in menopause, possibly we wouldn't have got divorced. We had one horrible case of, and it isn't just one case in the world, but David Salmon is an incredible man who I've got a lot of time for because he's been very inspiring. He saw our campaign 4 years ago talking about menopause and the 48 signs, and he actually phoned us up and said, what can I do about this? He said, because my wife 3 months ago took her own life, and it's only just by watching this programme I realised that she wasn't just showing more signs than just anxiety, it was menopause. And as a man, if I'd known more what to look out for, possibly, I mean, she wasn't known for depression, she wasn't known for any of it, so it was a complete surprise. So again, you know, we need more people to understand it, and not on...
But I think that if he knew more, but also if she knew more.
Completely.
I mean, so the education and the understanding, and that for me is a real positive that's come out of this sort of menopause, I guess, revolution, is there is a lot more understanding of what menopause is and what those, you know...
Well, I mean, the knowledge of menopause is going up, but I'm still shocked by our latest report that's coming out on the 18th of October that shows that the awareness of menopause is going up, but still the average amount of women can still only name 3 to 5 symptoms or signs when there's 48. So if you don't know what's coming up...
But are they women who are going through it, though?
No, these are pre and perimenopausal women as well.
Yeah, but it's the women who are going through it.
No, it's the perimenopausal women. You wouldn't let your petrol tank run out of petrol. You've got a gauge and you see when it's running out, but you actually know how many miles you've got to go. We need more women better educated on the 48 signs before peri, because peri is when it starts happening. If you know, it's like from your thinning hair. You know, women, I'm a perfect example. I didn't know I was perimenopausal. I was losing hair left, right and centre into my plug. It was costing me more.
Just a little bit about because I've got a question on this. Tell me about your personal menopause experience and when that started.
Yeah. My perimenopausal journey, when I actually, now on hindsight know about it, actually started when I was 45. And I was running my business. It was really successful. And just before a conference, and I ran conferences left, right and centre. I was in an Edinburgh hotel, and I woke up and I thought that an iron girdle was on my chest. I couldn't breathe.
Really?
And I phoned down. I went to hospital. They thought I'd had a heart attack. Then I stayed in for 2 days and having lots of different tests, and it turned out that I'd had a panic attack. Now, please don't get me wrong on this, but when it went through, we might have a clot and everything else.
Oh my goodness.
When they originally then said it's a panic attack, I actually almost pleaded with them to tell me it was something else, because I couldn't have put... My kids lost their dad when he was 42 years old from a stroke. And I couldn't believe I'd put my kids through worrying over what I thought was only a panic attack. Now, having had a panic attack now, I will never ever believe it's only a panic attack. But those palpitations that were the start of my perimenopause journey. And that doesn't show everyone's got it. I've never had a panic attack.
So it's interesting, isn't it? Because do you think if that happened now rather than 10 years ago, do you think the hospital would have looked at everything and said, we think it might be a response to perimenopause? Do you think they're educated much better now than 10 years ago?
I hate to say it, but actually, as we've seen recently, the doctors, not all doctors are educated in menopause right now. So until we've got through the education of doctors from private right through to the NHS, every doctor understanding the modules of menopause and what can happen, you would still go to hospital and you would still absolutely be taken on the risk factor of its possible heart attack, because you can't, you know, if they'd sent me home at that time, go, don't go home, it's perimenopause. You know, you want to know that you checked out everything. But with me, if I'd known more about it, would have then actually started looking at my nutrition, looking at my exercise, looking at the food I was eating, and would have taken that as, actually, this was a panic attack. Maybe it was part of menopause, and maybe I am entering this, and what else do I need to look through? Because then I would have looked at my aching bones that I got a few months later and actually thinking, you know, really bad joint pain. So instead of going and having lots of MRI scans and everything else, I would have actually realised that this was part of my perimenopause and I needed to get the right supplements and do the strength exercise I needed. And equally, food played a big part for me. Now, I don't know about you, Grace, but I've been the perfect example of the yo-yo dietary life. I've been calorie deficit. We've been the guinea pig of life, full stop, from getting more women to the top to eating. Cambridge soup, Cambridge diet, Atkins soup. Sorry, I'm getting soup all over the place. Cambridge diet, Atkins diet, cabbage soup diet, you name it diet. I've been on them all. Because actually it was all about calorie deficit and calories that we were counting.
Wasn't the Atkins though all about fats?
And
done that, fats.
But equally...
And the low fats. Low fat this, low
green
fat
day,
that.
red day, whichever one that was, protein day, carbohydrate day.
Done all that.
But we were doing was calorie counting all the time. So our bodies, I do believe, are the most nutritionally deficit to 100%. Enter perimenopause than there's ever been. My grandma had a better diet than me. She grew her own vegetables. She had meat and 3 veg. She had porridge for breakfast and soup and a slice of bread at lunchtime. And she didn't go to the gym to do weightlifting. She didn't drive. She carried her own carry bags everywhere and everything else. So what I'm trying to say is that because of society and how we've changed, I believe that we haven't actually looked at the nutrition. Now, I do believe we're changing on that now. When I start to eat better, my sleep improved, my hair 100%. Improved. You know,
and that's true of whether you're menopausal or not. It's just...
But more important in menopause, because in every other part of our diet, we can go, you and I, when we were in our 20s, we could lose 3 pounds and easily, and then just have a bit of binge. We were all right on this, but it's not just about the weight now. It's what it's doing to our health and our bodies and our sleep. And I think this now to get it's a diet
and to
for
our
life.
serotonin levels, to our hormone levels, to
well, did we even know what
it?
serotonin meant?
No.
You know, so I think as well, it's about reminding ourselves this is a diet for life now.
Yeah.
And not want to fear, and don't think, make it so hard for yourself that you can only do it for 3 weeks.
See, I totally agree. I totally agree with you. And the guest that we had last month, she was saying,
Kate, wasn't it?
Kate, yeah. The problem is food today has no real nutritional value. Whereas I told this story, but you know, my parents had an allotment and all the rest of it. But you know, they literally they sort of grew, or they went to a local farm, but now food is so full of preservatives and it's filled with this, and she sort of said, you know, fish is really important in the diet, your omegas, fish is really, really important in the diet. She said, but you need to understand where that fish is farmed, where it's coming from, and it's she sort of used this phrase, it's not what you're eating, it's what that, you know, if it's chicken, it's not what the chicken, you're eating chicken, but it's what the chicken's eating that's important. It's what it's being fed, and it's so the nutritional value is so low, you know. But
equally, even a poor fed chicken, I would ask more women to eat than actually and in a cost of living crisis, not everyone can afford the organic live food.
Oh, I agree.
You know, do you know what I mean? So we either have to improve the whole standards, which is going to take ages, but we also have to recognise as well, I mean, protein. We need more protein than you would ever think about eating.
100%.
You know, and you know, when people say up your protein, you're going, oh, I'm going to be huge at the end of this.
Yeah, but you're not.
But actually, you're not.
Yeah.
So psychologically, 2 things we've got to change as women. Actually, you can eat bigger meals of certain foods, and you're not going to
fat.
And fat,
so
and you're not going to
important.
put on weight. You're actually possibly going to lose weight, but you're going to be healthier and more energetic.
Yeah.
And secondly, we've got to bring the new quality of what good and strong looks like, because too many women think to be strong, you're going to be bulked up. Actually, body beautiful, it's actually having a body that's going to last. Strong. To me, a strong body
100%.
is a body that's going to last you for the rest of your life. And what we're putting in now and achieving now and doing our exercises, the right exercises, will give us an ability to be able to pick up, should we get grandchildren, pick them up, take them up a mountain,
100%,
and actually just get up off a settee without having a stick.
Aches and pains.
You know, there's a lot to this, that if we want to live better, longer and happier, look into our health now.
It's like, that's what you're investing in, aren't you? You're investing in tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're
back into that investment for tomorrow, and what we said about living today better than yesterday, that actually, when it comes to cosmetics and everything else, I don't want people going, well, what kind of foundation that doesn't run down my face? What does that can't cure my menopause? No, but it can give you a better lived experience. If you've not had a great night's sleep, you're founders in that. You say
100%,
you can make a woman.
because I talk a lot about this, and I don't sleep well generally, and actually it's got nothing to do because now I'm post-menopause, but for a number of different reasons, which is why I go to the gym. Like going to the gym, the exercise, I talk about that a lot. But if you wake up in the morning and you've got dark circles and you look in the mirror and then you have to face the day, right? That could be, it doesn't matter whether you're going shopping or you're going to the office or you've got a, you know, it doesn't matter. But you look in the mirror and it makes you feel even more tired than you do.
Yeah.
If
now,
you
a medical expert could
that's
possibly say that's absolutely rubbish.
we
as women know that's true.
Absolutely. So if you cover up those dark circles, you are going to look brighter-eyed. It's proven, there have been studies on it, that you feel better. And I always say this, if you look good on the outside, you feel good on the inside.
And then you've got, once you start feeling good on the outside, you then can have the ability to look on the inside and decide, hang on a minute, I might look good, but I know I'm fooling myself at the moment because I need to start looking better at my sleep. You know, people have said to me, how come Colgate, they're now on board GenM, and what's that got to do with menopause? And I'll say, absolutely everything. I said, because when you were pregnant, or if you were fortunate to be pregnant, or if you chose to be pregnant, that you got free dentistry in the NHS because your teeth and your gums receded because of all the hormone changes whilst you're pregnant. You don't get free dentistry for 15 years of your menopause, and yet, you know, your gums are receding. It's not old age, it's actually all the changes that are going on. So actually raising the awareness of you need better dental care and health, oral care to your body at this moment in time, does make them then go, actually, whilst I'm at it, what else do I need to think about? So whether it's starting with a tube of total Colgate right through to actually getting a shampoo for thinning hair, recognising that you don't have to call out the plumber, just stop your hair thinning and actually start doing something about it. It's that start of the journey.
I'm very excited about your media campaign. So really, StudioLIFE is about practical, expert advice that you've got to impart to our audience. But I am interested in that media campaign purely because the way that women in midlife, mature women, menopausal women, blah, 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 are personified is a really good word. So tell me a little bit about your campaign, because I've seen it and it's so brilliant.
Well, to be honest, I feel that the rhetoric around menopause and midlife has got to change. We decided that with the power of the brands that we've got, we wanted to help use those powerful brands to change rhetoric. So we've got an out-of-home campaign that will be going out as of 18th of October. That's all about changing the rhetoric of menopause from fear to thrive. So yes, it raises the awareness of the M-tick as well. So we're using words like energetic, we're using words like unapologetic, we're using words like authentic, optimistic, and absolutely just nailing it on these words. Athletic, we've got Sally Gunnell being the face of athletic and showing what a menopausal woman can be like, because if we don't aspire to actually be more positive, I want women to look at these huge campaigns we're doing and go, I was once one of those, or all six. I once felt optimistic, I once was energetic, I was once erotic. We've got a great image of erotic.
I know who, Rachel Peru, who was one of my first ever models.
Incredible woman, and she's from Yorkshire, so how can I not like the woman? But equally on that, we wanted women to look at it and go, wow, I was once all of those, what's happened to me? Actually, I want that person back, because she can be brought back if you get your menopause. Without a doubt. Every woman should have the right to swing from the chandelier by the time in midlife, and 100%. I defy every woman to try it as well. So and
to be visible, and to be seen, and to own it, and have your own sense of agency.
This is your time, and I mean, I've absolutely supported your pro-age campaigns.
Thank you.
It's very important that we don't think about anti-aging; we think about pro-age,
100%.
and actually look to this. But our campaign really is to remind women themselves, they can be that woman again, and the only person stopping them being that woman is themselves. You know, whether that be nipping down to the doctors to see if you want to take HRT or whether it suits you, to actually accommodating the nutrition, the exercise. We didn't all go to the doctors when we were in puberty. That wasn't our first port of call when we became pubescent. We got a spot on our chin and we went straight down, I need some help. We have to look to what else are we doing with our bodies. And a HRT is great if you can take it, and actually for certain people it really does work.
And for some it doesn't.
But for those it works. It will give them a good menopause. I want women to aspire for a great menopause, and you can only get a great menopause if you look to your diet, your nutrition, your exercise, the kit you're wearing or feeling and doing, and how you're accommodating it.
And I think also putting yourself front and centre, putting yourself first.
Yeah,
and
it's back to valuing ourselves.
A stage, don't we, where you might have aging parents. You might have children, you might have grandchildren, you might still be working. There's such a pull on all of our time, and it's like, no, I'm front and centre. And they say that, don't they? The classic in an aeroplane when the oxygen mask, you put the mask on yourself to be able then to help. And it is that. And
it infuriates me, and it so frustrates me that we as women, we feel that we need to take a second place on this. Any period in life we need to put ourselves first, and the rest of what our responsibilities are will all get sorted a lot better.
100%.
And I want pro-age, I want to live my best life, but I certainly want to live my best menopause, and live your best menopause is our campaign.
Live your best 80s, 90s and 100.
Well, if you live your best menopause, I guarantee more women will live the best decades and decades and decades after that. And I'll be living proof to be with them, because that's what I aim to do as well. So I can't thank you enough for having me on here, Grace.
It's an absolute pleasure.
And thank you for being part of what we're doing. Thank you for supporting our campaign.
It's phenomenal. I mean, it is. And what you've achieved for me just is so inspirational, that if you put your mind to something, you can have a vision and you can achieve it.
Well, I mean, no one thought a new category of retail would ever come out.
Oh,
And
it's
actually,
phenomenal.
you know, as I said, this is a great example. I'm not just a menopausal woman who is fighting for menopause. I'm here as a role model to actually other women going, don't put up with things, think of how better they can be changed, and actually get on and do it yourself. Because there's a great quote out there, and I'll finish on this. Some people wish things would happen. There's those people who want things to happen, and then there's those people who make it happen. Be the person who makes things happen, and don't sit back. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you everybody, and we'll see you same time next month.